Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope your weekend is off to a good start. You know who this is, but for anybody new, this is Lisa in Connecticut, and I'm in my basement, which is where most of my worms are right now. And I want to peek in just on one bin. This is Yersinia Andre Red Wiggler, and it started on 4/27, which is 45 days or 6.5 weeks ago. I'm not on my tripod. I'm holding my phone. If you're not okay viewing a video that is unstable, then this may not be the video you want to watch. I have not checked in on these. This is something I'm trying with bins now, where I load them up and leave them. I don't add food. I don't check them. I don't water them. I'm trying to come up with a balance. I think I'm getting there, but we're about to see. Okay, that looks pretty dang good to me. I'm hoping you're seeing what I'm seeing, and I wish I had my tripod down here so I could hold you at a different angle, but actually I can bring you down way close to the top of the castings just so you can see the fine grain. You'll see on the top, unfortunately, there's still little bits of plastic from where perhaps, a mailing envelope. I still miss occasionally picking some pieces out. Go down around the sides. Of course, there's shells of, things like pumpkins and cucumbers that they don't really open up. And there's a sprout of something. Oh, I broke it, so I'm not quite sure. And then there's a sprout down here. I don't see any worms on top. And let me take a good look. I don't at first glance see any cocoons but one. So let's take a look. The first thing I'm going to say is this feels amazing. And it looks amazing. And it smells amazing. If I squeeze it, it stays. Oops. Sorry, little worm that I just squeezed. And when I let it go, now, I want to repeat, this has not been fed or watered since April 27th. It was a load it and let it go kind of situation. And wow, I'm really pleased with these castings. And this bus bin, this is one of the really deep ones. I'm experimenting right now. I've had to buy more because my worms keep multiplying. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe somebody can tell me why they won't stop breeding. But now I have 4 different size bus bins, and I like the depth of these. They're longer than I would like, but I really like how nice and deep they are, because when you get castings, you can see my arm when they're done, you get a lot of castings, and the depth means it doesn't dry out as easy, because when you load what you load, there's a lot of it. So let's go back to this. I'm looking at my thing here. So on April 27th, it started off with my standard bedding and a whole bunch of radish greens. And this didn't have any manure. It had, my standard bedding, cardboard, paper, whatever else, maybe some coconut coir, I'm not sure. Grit for certain. And then if it was radish greens, then that was the food they got. And I guess what I'm trying to do, or an experiment that I'm trying to reprove, is that if you give them proper bedding and you start them off right, and the radish greens certainly would be a good appetite stimulator, they will eat that while they continue to eat their bedding, of course, because compost worms they love their carbon, and carbon is the bedding, which it probably included some leaves. But if you look at these worms, you'll see how happy they are. I just did see a cocoon. I'm sure there's a ton of cocoons in here. And I just read something, an article, and I'm just going to tell you that it's going to be coming up. I'm going to be trying something that I read. I don't believe it, which is why I'm going to do it to prove it. But sorry, that's the problem with trying to hold the phone. So, let's see how, even though these haven't been watered or fed in 6 weeks. How beautiful the material is. Now they should be only red wigglers, but I can't say that there's not a Euro in here. There won't be any Africans, there won't be any blues, there won't be anything like that. This is a lot of castings, and it is beyond done. There's, other than the sprouts that have grown and the pretty much dry pumpkin and squash seeds, I mean, this is it for edibles in here. And these look like cucumbers. So you can see how nice and fluffy. It's wet and damp, but it's powdery. And that's what you want. So again, this is 45 days, which is exactly 6.5 weeks. And it may have been done at 6 weeks. I have not checked these in a week. So it may have been, actually it's been 2 weeks since I checked this bin. So it may have been done. You can see these guys are just really thriving in here. And the moisture is really good, and I think that's a key. Well, this is a really nice looking worm. Sorry, I can't help picking up a nice looking worm. Wow. Look at the contrast. The top of one and the bottom of another. That's a dark, dark worm. And that is not a Lumbricus rubellus. It's not possible for one to be in here. That's simply a red that, from eating or living the right way, I don't know. But this bin, I kind of point sideways. I have a shelf right there. You don't need to see my cat litter boxes, but they're there. I have a bunch here, and then I have 3 more shelves similarly. And the bins I've been going through today, lining them up according to their doneness. I have a big one here, and then over here, this is my Indian blues, and these guys are so crowded. And this bin is done too, but they're a little bit more. Of course, they're very quick, and they're a little bit more difficult to get them to migrate. So I'm going to bring them some pineapple, assuming I have some in my freezer, because that's their favorite thing. But I mean, they've done a really good job with their castings as well. And these little buggers are so darn quick. I mean, you touch them and they go. The whole thump and bump action, as I call it. They look like whales. They remind me of dolphins that come out of the water and go back in. You know, a head comes out and the tail, and they arch in the middle. That's exactly what these blues remind me of. But anyway, so this is just something I wanted to show you. And I may grab another bin or two to show you the results of the same thing. So this bin, just to recap, it was started with a good amount of my homemade bedding, which I have shared before, and radish greens and proper moisture 6.5 weeks ago. And it has been ignored since then. It hasn't. I may have fluffed it once or twice. Let me see. It says on May 3rd, I gave them oyster shell grit. So May 3rd, that's still over a month ago. So that was it. And they proved me right. They ate everything in their bedding, and they made pretty. So I'm happy. And I'm going to put them away. I'm going to bait some food down at one end to get the worms to migrate now. And check on to the next bin. And if I see something interesting, I'll be doing another video.